Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has been reportedly invited for an official visit by the King of Saudi Arabia. Arabic media is reporting Abbas already departed for Saudi Arabia Sunday evening. During his visit, he'll be joined by the Minister of Civil Affairs of the Palestinian Authority and the head of the PA's intelligence. On Sunday, the Gulf country hosted a senior delegation of the Hamas terror organization that rules the Gaza Strip. And joining me in studio is I-24 News correspondent Hamdah Salhut. Hamdah, what more can you tell us about this visit taking place?
Sada, good morning. It's still unclear if either of these visits are official. So we do know that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas was invited by the king for an iftar, a traditional Ramadan meal, and the Hamas delegation was invited by the Saudis to perform a pilgrimage in Mecca. Now, we don't really know when they're arriving. Reports are estimating that both will arrive today on Monday, and if not Monday, sometime before the end of the week, as the Muslim holiday of Eid is on Friday. It's still unclear if the two will meet. Senior Palestinian Authority officials saying that there are no plans at this time for Abbas to meet with Hamas. Let's talk about Hamas for a second and their rift with Saudi Arabia. Since 2007, relations have really been rocky since Hamas took over the Gaza Strip and threw out the Palestinian Authority there. Saudi Arabia even arresting people with Hamas affiliation. But since Hamas has been signaling that they would like a little bit more cooperation with Saudi has been warming up to that as well, releasing some of those prisoners. The Palestinian Authority, this is interesting for them. It's interesting to see if they're going to meet. The last time the two of them met was in Algeria last year, where the two concluded that they would have elections at the end of this year, 2023, but still to be determined.
Is Saudi Arabia taking on a larger role as mediator between the Palestinian factions? And could Saudi Arabia even be a potential mediator between the Israelis and the Palestinians?
Saudi Arabia is putting on a role similar to what Qatar does in these regional conflicts. Remember how Qatar mediated with the Afghanistan withdrawal just a couple of years ago? Saudi Arabia is taking on a similar role in the Middle East, reestablishing their ties with Iran, warming up their ties with Syria, trying to take on a role to show the West that the Middle Eastern countries are going to be in charge of the Middle East. They're trying to create a new world order here to show that they have power and that they are the ones who are going to control the narrative in this part of the world.
Absolutely. It's been a very eventful past few weeks for Middle Eastern geopolitics. Saudi Arabia resuming ties with Iran, attempting to put an end to the war in Yemen. But how concerning is this visit for Israel?
It's very concerning for Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu ran, part of his campaign was that he would try and put Saudi Arabia as one of the signatories of the Abraham Accords. But we've been seeing that Saudi Arabia is not very interested in that, given the escalating security situation in this country, given the incursions by Jewish worshippers to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the continuous raids within the West Bank. Israel should be concerned about what's going on. The Defense Minister, Yoav Gallant, speaking, saying that Iran is actually trying to start a war of attrition with Israel based on how they're now warming up with Saudi Arabia and all of these ties. And to your question earlier, could Saudi Arabia be a mediator within the Palestinian-Israeli conflict? The answer right now is no, because Saudi Arabia has no interest in normalizing with Israel at this time. They had a common interest, which was the Iranian threat, but now there's an open channel of dialogue between the Iranians and the Saudis, so they don't need Israel for that anymore.
Hamdah Salhut, thank you very much for that breakdown.